Hi guys, how's it going? So here we are, back on the Whistling Wombat. We haven't been sleeping on here or living on it the past few weeks. All these complications with Bex being a bit ill and stuff, and the leak and just the onslaught of problems on the boat have led us just to have a couple of weeks off, let that die down. So we've sort of been coming and going a little bit more opposed to actually staying on it because it's in a pretty crazy little state right now. So hopefully Becca will be on her way down too. I think she wants to crack on with her lovely wooden panels for the kitchen area. We're also going to be checking under the floorboards again to see if there's any water under there again. I don't think there will be because there hasn't been any rain. Just got a good feeling, good gut instinct this time. Go with that. Also going to check where the bow thruster is. That's where the new leak sort of was found, which was either coming from the river or just from rainwater and got onto the decking and snuck its way into one of the little holes. Okay, so I've quickly got to shoot off and try and find a Maverick who will be supplying us with our lovely new glass window for the bathroom, if anyone remembers that. I know it's so bloody long ago since we keep releasing these vlogs, but yeah, he accidentally smashed that window a few weeks back. I've come for the beautiful glass.
Go get it then.
It's glass. Wow, look at him. Unfortunately, that is it for the Maverick today. He can't just look after us all the time. He's got his kids to look after, but I'm sure he'll be back in the future. But in the meantime, I mean, it is about time that I started to get my grips with DIY and doing things on the boat. So here we go, eh? New year, new me. Okay, so got our lovely new glass panels from the Maverick. We got a spare, 10 quid each these were. Stevenage glass, I think. So, okay, so that's the original one. And these are the two new ones that are hopefully going to fit in to the shower room where the Maverick smashed it. So we've got a spare one so the Maverick can smash another one. Good thinking, Maverick. Good thinking. Look a little bit wonky. Not the straightest, but I wonder if the original one was wonky. No, the original is perfect. First one of the year. And it's not even a spider. Okay, so time to get into the bow thruster area under the stairs at the front and see if the leak's returned. Okay, so this is where there's water in there again. And that's not great. That's not good at all. We have had a tiny little bit of rain over the last week, but not enough, I would have thought, to have got in there. Maybe the water's been getting in through here. Can't believe it's in there again. That's the first bad thing that we found today. I was hoping that was going to be sort of quite dry in there because I had taken all the water out of there. So that probably means there's going to be a little bit in the back. Under the floorboards, I wouldn't be surprised. Whatever it is, wherever the leak's coming from, it is a small leak. Right, so let's have a look at the back, under the floorboards, and hopefully there isn't any water in there. I'll be honest with you guys, the only thing that's keeping me going with all this is probably vlogging it for you guys, and without that, this would be quite a depressing little state of affairs with lots of little problems, but at least you can look at it in a way where, you know, well, at least we've got something to vlog about, opposed to just sitting about in our boats drinking cups of tea. And also found it's incredibly helpful with the comments and stuff from a lot of you guys that own boats and have guided us in the right direction too. So it doesn't feel like you're alone on this journey. It feels like you got a nice little community that got your backs. The nice ones anyway, the nice comments. Okay, let's get these back balls up. These bloody things getting in the way constantly. So word has it, Bex is just round the corner, so she should be here soon. Let's see how well she is. Gloves. As you've probably seen in these vlogs, you can see that I'm very pro glove. I don't like getting all the stuff under my fingernails. That's what it is. Behold the black marigold. Try and get in there with this without damaging it. How to make the simplest jobs look difficult. Narrowboat life. So far so good. Not a huge amount. No, there is a bit flowing down. Tiddly little bit now. Bloody hell. What a pain in the bloody arse, eh? You've got one of these electronic bilge pumps. I think I'll try and use that. Always feel guilty borrowing everyone's stuff at the marina and then maybe towel it out. But I mean, what's the point if it's only going to come back anyway? Got to find out where it's coming from and bung that cork in it, bung that parsnip in it. And look who's finally decided to join us. This is Rebecca, she's new to the channel.
Hi guys.
So I think the next job will be to check the engine bay for any water. I don't think we've checked it for a while, since Christmas, so that'll be interesting. Always have these terrible visions of opening up the hatch door and seeing the water right up to the top, but we're always sort of all right, really. I mean, there shouldn't really be any water in there anyway, but we you know, it's a very small amount. So this is our bilge pump that we're going to let rip. Every narrowboat has one of these in the engine compartment to extract any water that's got into there. And most narrowboats ones normally work better than our one. Or maybe we just need more water in there to make it worthwhile. Okay, so that's the engine bay cleared. Doesn't look like that's where the problem's coming from. We have got the stern gland in for repacking because it is letting in a little bit of water, but that doesn't seem to be the main problem with the leak. Well done, Bex. Straight back from where you left off. She loves the engine bay, that girl. You can't get her out of there, I'm telling you. And from one job onto the next, these are the lovely scaffolding panels that Becca's been sanding down, ready for our new kitchen tops. Amazing.
So the next stage of the scaffolding board preparation is to plane the edges here so that the boards sit nice and flush together. So that's what I'm going to do now, fingers crossed.
This girl loves tools. Sorry, that's extremely childish. Safety first. And this here is a lost goose that we've been a bit worried about for a while. Update coming soon. Right, so it's time to carry out a little special test. Very professional test this, guys. You ready? So the idea here is we check the colour of the water in the area where it's been leaking, and then we can compare it to the colour of the water in the river to sort of see if they're matching. Oh no, it's probably not the most accurate test now, is it? The river's cleaner. Yep. I suppose the river doesn't have any rust in it, does it? So, apart from our boat. Okay, so the handheld bilge pump this time. Now we want to try and get the water out here so it can dry in here. We've got one of these little electric pumps that suck out all the water. So because there's such a small amount of water in there, the pump doesn't actually want to suck it up. So let's get a bit more water in there. Only joking, let's get Bex to have a go, because let's face it, she'll get this going. She'll make it work, she will.
Oh, there, here we go.
Oh wow.
See it?
That bloody leak. Looks exactly the same shade as the river as well. Okay, so let's try the Maverick's special glass. So it turns out we can't replace the actual window that the Maverick smashed because the little lock fitting wasn't quite the same size. What we can do though is put the one back that the Maverick took as a template. It's held in by a little thing, and originally when it fell out on this side it was because the Maverick was poking the video camera through and it was already missing one on one side, and this right one's completely bent anyway. We'll put the old one back in first, yeah?
Yeah.
So let's have another look in the water tank area and see if there's potential for the leak to be coming from there. I don't like going in here. This is where Bex and the Maverick normally go. So we get back in here and see if there's any water in the tank, because that is the thing that we've just completely forgotten about. Could be water in there that's slowly been creeping into the bit with the bow thrusters. Sorry, it all gets a bit shaky around here. I get nervous in these dark little wet areas. And I'm just going to pause it here because this is the moment I dropped our lovely little electronic bilge pump into the water tank and it started to, yeah, you'll see anyway. Right, so we'll get some of the water out in there with the little bilge pump thing. I'll drop the whole thing in. Get all that water out, get it nice and dry in there, and then start trying to de-rust it, I think. Good thing with doing it now is that it's a bit colder and there's no spiders in there. Normally in the summer that would be the sort of area which would attract all these spiders. So I think I may have damaged the pump by dropping it into the water tank right in the water. The battery compartment all got wet and then just packed up. So drying that out, I think now is probably a good time to maybe get some food colourant. So I'm going to go on the hunt for some food colourant. We're going to pour that into the water tank and do what a lot of our viewers have been asking us to do with the food dye, so we can cancel out if the leak is coming from the water tank. Yeah, what a cracking idea. So without you guys, we would be nothing. We'd be sinking even more. And woohoo! We've got Tesco Express here in Eaton Sokens, so we do not mess about us Eaton Sokens. But does not supply food dye, so yeah, bit of a crap one really. So if Tesco Express cannot itch our food dye itch, we're bringing out the big guns. Lidl, the home of the bread counter. So we finally have food dye. Pink little bad boy. So we're going to fill the water tank up again, probably about halfway. It's about a quarter of the way full now, and I think if we do halfway, then at least we know that that's the level it was at in case the leak's coming from a higher sort of stage in the tank. And then we're going to move on to doing the cool little test, which I'm quite looking forward to, that again someone on the comments said, where on the decking area out here, is that called the decking, the sort of front of the bow? We're going to seal up the holes in there, and then we're going to start tipping a bit of water in and jetting it a bit and just seeing if water comes in from the top, because there's this little sort of area on the top which is meant to be sealed, but it quite possibly might not be. So bring it up to this line here probably. Pour the whole lot in, I reckon. And you can see it in there if you can get past all the wonky camera work. So if we find any more water on the boat in the shade of pink, we know it's coming from a leaky water tank. And also we're going to measure the depth in here, and then we can keep an eye on that too. So into the back room of our boat, where Bex is working on our tabletops for the kitchen. So these were old scaffolding boards, and Bex is joining them together with something called a biscuit. The old joint-in biscuits. Also, there is a device that actually cuts into these boards for joining the biscuits on properly and making it a lot easier, but Bex is just doing it all manually by hand, the nutter. It works out cheaper. And seeing the board sat on the floor like this really makes me want to use these as sort of flooring on the boat. We viewed a few with them like this, and it looks awesome. I mean, you lose a little bit of height on the boat, but only about an inch or so. So for those that keep hearing me say bow thruster that, bow thruster this, it's what it basically is. It provides a lateral thrust, making the vessel more manoeuvrable. So there seem to be a couple of jets at the front and the bottom of the boat, and they basically push left or right to help the boat move in that direction. So ours is broken like everything else on the boat, but whoever's had the boat before has just painted straight over the top without taking off the little plate first, which is just bad practice really, isn't it? But it was obviously just out to sell it, maybe. So this is the entrance to the brain of the bow thruster. Oh no, that's the seal that I'm hacking away into. So this area is not protected in any way at all from the rain. There's normally a cover over it, but our boat doesn't have one. Surprise, surprise. We believe that there's a very, very good chance that there could be a slight leak here where the rainwater's getting in. It's creeping through to the bow thruster area below, like you saw earlier, and then sort of somehow getting out of that area and flowing down our boat. And surprise, surprise, I couldn't get into it. Well, if it wasn't letting in water before, it's definitely going to be letting water in now. Notice there's a sill that sits under that, which is pretty obvious, but I've been sort of eating away into that with my screwdriver, so you live and learn. I mean, we're probably going to have to put a paper bag over it or something and tape it down. But okay, so a couple of little tests today. We're going to work on the bow area and see if the leak is coming in through the inspection hatch on the top. Like a lot of our lovely viewers said, with all the bad rain that we've had the last weeks. And yeah, see if we see some sort of drips coming through underneath where the bow thruster is. It does look a bit waterous under there. We have tried getting the screws up, but we can't get in there. They're quite tight. We're going to have to come back with maybe a pupper crow or something to infiltrate the hatch. As you know, we've put the food dye in the water tank at the front, and we're hoping, or I don't know if we're hoping or not hoping, to see if it appears in the bow thruster area down here. I suppose it would be nice to see it appear in there, because then you know the water was coming from the actual water tank opposed to the river, which is still a bit up in the air if it is coming in from the river. You know, it's 50-50 at the moment. So let's do a little test and just see if there is food colourant in here. I don't reckon there will be. But you can barely get any water in there. Can you see a shade of pink in there? We were chatting to a guy the other day that said it had been raining the last few days, all through the night. So maybe that was the reason why the last week it had sort of filled up again with more water. It's hard doing this without being a professional and knowing what you're doing.
I'm going to get it in the actual groove so it... I think that might be seeping in.
Yeah, I mean it is down here as well. Let you come down here and have a look. You can feel it dripping down. Oh, it is. Until it touched the roof around the back of it.
There's something dangling which feels... Yeah, you can feel it if you feel the crease. Iffy all round. There's a cobweb or something hanging down.
Look.
Yeah, that would explain a lot.
Without, no, I was saying no marigolds. Sort of showing off.
Oh, right.
Look, don't care about the water. It's the fact I've got no marigolds on. I'm turning into a man. So I think our amazing viewers may have found the problem. Well done. That is the best possible outcome, really, isn't it? If it is, it might not fully be 100% that, though. It might just be one of a few different leaks.
So, the story, the mysterious story of the leak has just opened up. Like, we've turned a page, so to speak, and suddenly have just uncovered some amazing information. So we've gone back to our sort of process of elimination method and decided to have a look under the bow of the boat, because theoretically the bulkhead should completely close this section off from the rest of the boat. Thus, we started to ask ourselves, well, if that's true, how would any water that had collected in the bow make its way into the cabin of the boat and down to the back there? Anyhow, with a bit of digging around and some serious neck twisting, I got my head stuck under where the bow thrusters live and discovered there is actually a gap in the steel where the pipes go through from the water tank that would allow water ingress basically into the rest of the boat. So we're starting to get closer to understanding how we might have ended up with so much water in our bilges.
Okay, so now what we've got to do is try and seal that front hatch. And we're going to try and find some crafty little way of doing so. So nothing too professional. That should do it, what do you reckon? And we wanted to stick some sort of blue tack in there too before taping it up, but all out. I mean, this is all temporary, remember. Is this just a sort of bodge? Will that
Just
stop?
temporarily until we've got the tools we need. You can do the next one. But yeah, no.
So Becca, ladies and gentlemen, has set me a task for the day. This here is the bottom of our bed. As you can see, there are no holes in there at all for the bed to be able to breathe, so the mattress is content to go mouldy. All Becca's words. I'm no pro at all this holes in bed business, but so yeah, my aim for the day is to try and drill some holes here in the board. So yeah, it can breathe. I haven't got much more to say apart from that. I'm going to be doing it on the pontoon. So this is where it's going to get interesting, because I don't want to sort of obviously carve the drill into the pontoon. Do you feel confident in me?
Yes.
I'm not sure. Let's rock and roll. Moving round. Would you have it in a higher one or? This is first hole, remember guys. Absolutely pathetic. I've never charged them up once. Might be a case of charging them all up. That's it, can't even get one done. So our batteries on my lovely new Christmas tours have never been charged up, so we're already out of batteries after about 30 seconds. Luckily, the Maverick has left us his Makita from ages ago. I think Makita like the top-notch ones, aren't they? Like the bad boys ones. So now I'm going to show you how I'm a bad boy. Still the first one. One done. So the annoying bit is, every time you drill in a little bit into this weird cardboardy wood stuff, this happens. You've got to try and pick it out somehow. I'm sure there's a much easier sort of way to do it. Have to try and pick that out again. There must be something easier. Must be an easier way. Pick this bloody thing out again every bloody time. Seems to be easier to undo the drill and then just try and hammer it out. Comments down below how you meant to get it out. Well, that would help. Take the old bolt off. That'll pop straight out now. Straight out. Painful to watch, I imagine. Again, pick out the little annoying bit. Let's see if it was my stupidity now. Tell you what, you keep on doing this, it's only a matter of time before that little bugger's going to fall into the river. Got a little bolt on there, as you all probably know. Here we go. Oh yeah, slide straight out now. You got to undo the bolt. How I've avoided DIY for this long that's the puzzle. This isn't the puzzle. The puzzle is how I've avoided DIY for so long. Be an expert by the end of this, telling you. Professional hole borer. Out of battery. That's all we can do. A measly little job anyway. Got 8 and a bit holes left to do. Shame that last one didn't go.